Hi, welcome back to Becca's Kitchen. Today's recipe is a healthy and gluten-free take on a classic comfort food. Today I'm going to show you my recipe for lasagna. I'm sharing this recipe at the request of my mother-in-law. We actually had this meal over at their home not too long ago, and she's been raving about it ever since. I've had the recipe for several years now, but I've made a few adjustments to make it a little more healthy and also now gluten-free. So let's go through the ingredients and then I'll show you how to put it together. Our first ingredient is 1 pound of lean ground beef. Now, of course, you can substitute ground turkey or ground chicken, whatever your family prefers, or you can omit it completely and you would still have a tasty vegetarian lasagna. Our second ingredient is a full jar of prepared pasta sauce. Now, you may remember a few videos ago I shared this recipe with you, but if you haven't had a chance to look at it, we'll put the link below. Here we have 1½ cups of just regular water, ½ cup of grated Parmesan cheese. This is 1½ cups of plain yogurt. And here I have 2 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese. I'm going to use 1 cupful for the filling, where we're going to incorporate it all together, and then the other cup will be used for the bubbly topping at the end. This is a 1/4 cup of the Bragg Seasoning that I use so often. And this is a ½ teaspoonful each of sea salt and black pepper. And our final ingredient, which is what makes it gluten-free, is our brown rice pasta. Now I'll show you how to put it together. I've preheated the oven to 350 degrees, and now I'm just going to brown the ground beef and cut it up into small chunks, and then we'll add the sauce and the water while the oven is preheating. Okay, we've browned all of our ground beef right now, and normally you would want to drain this, but actually because I used extra lean ground beef, I have not even had to do that step, which is really nice. Our next step is to add the pasta sauce. And we'll just stir that in really good. Bring the temperature up a little bit because we're going to add the water and have this simmer for about 10 minutes while we prepare the filling. So we'll just stir this up, bring it up to a boil, and then lower the temperature for a little bit, and we'll allow that to simmer. So as you can see, we've set our sauce to simmer for a few minutes over there. We brought it to a boil and then brought the temperature back down, and we're just going to let it simmer for about 10 minutes. Now we're going to assemble our filling that's going to go between the layers. So I'm going to start with that half of my portion of the mozzarella cheese, so that's 1 cup of shredded mozzarella. And we'll add the yogurt. This is a great healthy alternative to some of the cheeses that most lasagna recipes call for. Our Parmesan cheese, our Bragg Seasoning, and the salt and pepper. And we're going to mix it up really well. This makes for a nice creamy filling. It complements the meat sauce really nicely, and then we'll add the rest of the mozzarella at the end. So I think our sauce is just about done. I'm going to show you now how to assemble our lasagna. Okay, I have all my prepared ingredients assembled around me. So now I'm going to show you how we'll layer it up before we put it in the oven. So we'll start with the meat sauce. We'll just put a little bit at the bottom to moisten the bottom so that we don't have the noodles sticking to the bottom. And then our next step is to add a layer of noodles. You can break them up however you need to make them fit. I usually get 4 across here and then a smaller one widthways. And then we'll put some more sauce on. Now I say that this is a more healthy version, and that is because of the fresh ingredients. It's not necessarily a lower calorie recipe simply because I'm using the noodles. But it's still the brown rice noodles, which is a healthier alternative, and the homemade pasta sauce is absolutely loaded with veggies. So after we have the pasta sauce on, we will then take half of our yogurt and cheese mixture and just layer that on top. Spread it out as much as you can. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's going to taste good no matter how it looks. So we'll just spread it out as best we can. And add our next layer of lasagna noodles. Okay, we've just finished spreading the second layer here. So we're going to add our last layer of lasagna noodles and top it off with the rest of the sauce and our mozzarella cheese. Spread it around as best we can. Don't be afraid to get messy. You can use these gluten-free noodles just as you would any regular lasagna noodles or whole wheat noodles. You don't have to boil them beforehand. You just put them on like this and they cook up nicely. So now we'll have our top layer here. Just use all the rest of the shredded mozzarella. And then we're going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees. We're going to cover it with aluminum foil and bake it for 50 minutes. And then after the 50 minutes, we'll take off the aluminum foil, and that'll allow some nice browning on the top here. Okay, I have tightly covered it with aluminum foil, and we're going to place it in the oven and bake it for 50 minutes. Okay, we've had our lasagna in for 50 minutes. Now we're just going to remove the aluminum foil and put it back in for another 10 minutes so that we get that nice browning on the cheese. Here it is, our completed, healthy, and gluten-free lasagna. Now it's time to slice it up, and as always, do our taste test time.
It's taste test time!
For this taste test time, we actually have some special guests.
We're so happy to be here.
Yeah.
Let's have a taste, everybody.
That is downright good.
That is delicious. I can't believe that's gluten-free.
Nice
If
job.
you think your family would like this too, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest.
And look
See
at
you
the
next
lovely
time.
salad.